Hello everyone, myself Jaya Agarwal, Assistant Professor Political Science from SBCGC Ajmer. I welcome you all in this video. This is paper second of BA part second, Indian government and politics or Indian political system. And in this paper, today we are going to study the administrative relations between center and the states. When we talk about the relations between center and the states in India, then we talk about the legislative relations, administrative relations and financial relations between them. And when we talk about the administrative relations, it is one of the most important aspect that decides the structure of relations between the center and the states. So let's understand administrative relations between center and the states. In the field of administrative relations, too, the union government appears to be in powerful position in comparison to state governments. The administrative relations between the two can be explained under the following points. First one, the power of the union to issue directions to the state governments. According to Articles 256 and 257, the executive power of the governments of the states is to be so exercised as to ensure compliance with the laws and executive powers of the union. The union government is empowered to issue directions to the state governments to ensure such compliance. Non-compliance of central directives by the state governments is tantamount to the failure of constitutional machinery in the concerned state and may invite imposition of President's rule under Article 356. So, Article 356 of the Indian Constitution that belongs to the President's rule in a state in India, imposition of President's rule in a state in India. So, according to Article 256 and 257, that gives the power to the center to ensure compliance, to ensure the executive power of the governments of the state, that is to be so exercised as to ensure compliance with the laws and executive powers of the union. And for this purpose, the union government has the power to issue directions to the state governments to ensure such compliance. If the state government does not work according to this article, then this article also empowers the central government under Article 356 that it will be considered as the failure of constitutional machinery in a state, and there may be imposition of president's rule in that state under Article 356 of the Indian Constitution. So first when we talk about the administrative relations, first here comes the power of the union to issue directions to the state governments. The second is power of the union government to entrust some responsibilities to the state governments. Here in the second point, the union government has the power that it can entrust some responsibilities to the state governments. The union government has the power to issue directions to the states with respect to construction and maintenance of means of communication of national and military importance and the protection of railways within the state. The cost incurred in performing these functions will be the expenses will be met the expenses the union government will provide the fund for such functions. Next one is provisions of all India services. Article 312 of the Constitution 312 of the Constitution makes provision for the establishment of all India services like IAS, IPS and IFS, Indian Forest Service. The members of the All India services are recruited by the UPSC and their service conditions are regulated by the Union government, but the members of these services are appointed to the highest posts of the state governments. Their final control rests with the union government. So, yeah, earlier, before this article, we have talked about the Article 256 and 257 and power of the union government to enter some responsibilities to the state governments. And here comes the Article 312 that is related with the establishment or provisions of all India services. So, like IAS, IPS, IFS in the Indian Forest Service, and the members of the All India services are recruited by the UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, and their service conditions are regulated by the Union government. But the members of these services are appointed to the highest posts of the state governments. Then their final control rests with the Union government. So, the all India services are being controlled by the union government, and the members of these services are appointed to the highest posts of the state governments. Next one is Interstate Council. Article 263 of the Constitution makes provision for the establishment of an interstate council by the union government and which is headed by the prime minister. Its main functions are to resolve the disputes among the states and discuss and recommend on the matters of common interests of the states. According to Article 263, the President can establish an interstate council if public interest so requires. The interstate council shall perform the following functions. First one is to inquire into disputes among the states and advise upon to resolve such disputes. Second, investigating and discussing subjects on which some or all of the states or the union and one or more of the states have a common interest, or making recommendations upon any as such subject, and in particular recommendation for the better coordination of policy and action with respect to that subject. And the organization and process of the interstate council are to be determined by the president. And so that's all for today from my side. Thank you very much.